Brooke is called That Gratitude Guy, not The Gratitude Guy. That Gratitude Guy. David George Brooke, the Gratitude Guy. That Gratitude Guy has been a speaker, teacher, life coach, and best-selling author for over 25 years. And he's a member of Seattle 4. He is a former Nordstrom store manager and has managed in the corporate world for over 30 years. His published books include, there goes a fine. His published, is that yours, David?
No.
He's already paid.
His published books include The Brooker's Daily Gratitude Journal, which I have, and I have enjoyed very much, and it does help. The Happiness Starts with Gratitude and Gratitude Nuggets to Chew On. He was recently featured on New Day with Margaret Larson on King TV and shared the stage with Bill Gates Sr. at your district conference. With over 452 gratitude videos posted on YouTube, thousands have seen his message, and he is now considered a leading authority on gratitude and how living a life of gratitude can enhance and improve your life. Please join me in welcoming David.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Brent, and everybody for inviting me. I was talking to Steve earlier and Eileen and saying that I'm blessed enough, and actually Keith, when I first got here, to do 2 or 3 talks a week. A slow week is 1 or 2, and then sometimes to do 3 and 4 and 5. So I feel very, very fortunate. I want to start off very, very quickly with a show of hands. How many people here have suffered a significant personal loss in your life? Okay, that's just about everybody. Thank you. I get to speak to schools, so I do commencement speeches. The average age is 17 or 18, and I do a lot of rest homes where the average age is probably 85 to 95. And it goes from half the people to, as you can imagine, 100% of the people in the rest homes. So I want to talk about my significant personal loss. It was September 29th, 1998. It was a Tuesday. I woke up and I looked over to the side to find my wife, and she wasn't there in bed, about 6:30 in the morning. But that's strange. I wonder where Dana is. And I get up, and just as I get up, Connor, my 4-year-old, comes in and goes, "Where's Mom?" I don't know. Let's see if we can find her. So we walk down the hall. Kyle, my 14-year-old, gets up as well. What's the commotion? We can't find Mom. So we look in a couple of rooms, and we walk down the hallway, and then we look downstairs, and I can see Dana down in front of the washer and dryer, face down. She's all crunched over. It doesn't look very good. So we go rushing down there, and we turn her over, and there's stuff coming out. Connor starts crying. I said, Kyle, call the firemen. Kyle, call the police. Call whatever. And in about 4 or 5 minutes, there must have been 30 people in our house. And they took her out, and they put her in the rec room area we had down there, and they had the wires and the tubes and those electric things. And I've never seen anything so surrealistic in my life. All I'd ever seen something like that is on TV. I thought I was having this big nightmare. But for those of you that have gone through something like that, Eileen and I were talking about losing spouses, and I'm sure other people have had significant losses as you all raised your hands. One of the things you'll notice is time loses all measure. And I didn't know how much time had gone by, and this little short fire person comes over to me and says, "Mr. Brooke, we've been working on your wife for an hour and a half. We still don't have a heartbeat. You want us to continue?" And this CPU up here we have, this brain, even in shock, still computes a little bit. And they went, "Wow, an hour and a half." And I said, "No, you can stop." And she was dead. She was 38 years old. And what made it so challenging for me is that wasn't just the first loss of mine. I had had so many losses, I thought this life thing is getting a little ridiculous for me. My mother had died when I was younger of cancer. My father, a pretty prominent attorney in Seattle, elected to end his own life one day with a shotgun. My buddies in Vietnam, my fraternity brothers, it just went on and on and on. And I remember a couple of days after Dana passed away, my friends and family, they were swarming the house, bringing food and helping and doing everything they could. But I walked up on the deck. We lived by Green Lake. And I stood on the deck by myself, and I just kind of looked up at the sky, and I thought, gosh, I don't know. I just remember pinching my skin, going, this is not a nightmare, it's real. And I remember thinking for the first time in my life, now I see why people kill themselves. Because we were only about a mile away from the Aurora Bridge. You just walk over there and jump off the bridge, and you're out of the pain. But I sat there and I looked out there for about 4 or 5 minutes, and I thought, nope, I'm not doing that. I got a 4-year-old and I got a 14-year-old. Well, that'd be great. They lose their mom. Now their dad can't take it, and he jumps off the bridge. So once you make a decision to not do something, it's not on the table anymore. It's not an option. It's never been an option before or since that day. But it does depend on how you look at something. So I'd like you to all stand up if you would. And for those that can, if you can't, that's okay. And I want you to, we just had a great meal. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Brent. And I want you to take your right arm and I want you to start turning in a clockwise manner. Now, unlike the high schools, I don't have to show you guys clockwise. They have no idea what clockwise is. We're digital. And there's not even, what is a clock? It cracks me up. Anyway, so turn it clockwise. Now just start bringing it slowly down. Keep it going clockwise. Down to your forehead, your eyes, your chin, your chest, your waist. Now what direction is it going? Who said that? Bueller? Maria? What is it going? Counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. Thank you. You can sit down. I noticed Maria's IQ earlier is very very high. I have these fraternity brothers. What? I didn't get your name. What's your first name? Kevin. Kevin is funny. Yeah, well, and I have these fraternity brothers that I've known for 45 years, and I was talking to them recently, and one of them says to me, we've seen your little presentation, and frankly, we're not that impressed. And, okay. He says, but what's the story on this? And I go, well, if you're so impressed, how come you have to ask me about that? You're an MBA from the University of Washington, speaking of Huskies versus Cougars. So I could say glass half full or I could say glass half empty, but that's just my way of saying that. It depends on how you look at it. And if you look at it from above or below. But I had to make a decision that somewhere along the way I was going to look at this thing with the glass half full. I was telling Steve earlier, I had a father that not only committed suicide, but he was very negative. I'd say, good morning. He'd go, what's good about it? Oh, my Lord. And I'd say, Dad, it's sunny out. He goes, it's going to rain tomorrow. And I just never, ever got that. So to me, I'm going to talk about 5 things. And I talk pretty fast, so I like to cram a lot into a short period of time. The first thing I ask people to do is embrace gratitude. So I have a little exercise for you. There should be some 3x5 cards on your table. So I want you to grab a card. And if you have a pen, great. If you don't, raise your hand. I'll bring some pens around. And I need you to pick a partner. Kevin needs a pen. Who else? Gary needs a pen. What's your first name? I didn't get Ron. This is Gary Vaughn. What's your name? Carol? Yep. What a cool name. Who else? Perry got it. Everybody else got a pen? Perry, Catherine. Okay, what you're going to do is pick a partner. Partner up with somebody. If it's an odd number at the table, you don't have to worry about it, or you can get somebody else.
Only a 3-person.
Or you can do the 3. That's okay. And what I want you to do, upper left-hand corner of the 3x card, write, I see you as. Those 4 words. I see you as. And then to the right of that, put your partner's name. So Kevin, are you with Donna?
Yeah.
So you put I see you as Donna, and Kevin. Donna, you put I see you as Kevin. And in the lower right-hand corner, sign your name. Write it, sign it, print it, what have you. And what I want you to do, I'm going to give you 60 seconds. I want you to write how you see your partner. Energetic, maternal, happy, whatever the words that would describe that person to you. 60 seconds, go. And you're writing about your partner. Okay, about 30 seconds left. Just write as much and as fast as you can. Okay, and stop. And of course you could write more. In some cases, some people say there's nothing nice to write about that person, whatever. But I'm going to give you another 60 seconds. Tell each other what you wrote about each other. Go.
great idea. We're loading towards your wife, kids, and community. Competent professional and personal, dealing with cutting talents and
Show your blank slate.
Okay, and stop. I know some of you go faster than others. So exchange cards and get the card that the person wrote about you. And just take a quick look at that. And when you see what somebody wrote about you, this is my exercise to prove what embracing gratitude does. So people, look at those cards that the people wrote, I should say. How many people will probably hang on to that card? Okay, about half of them. Thank you, Gary. Carol, you wouldn't hang on to your card? Nope. Okay, good. That's my way. Now, mind you, I get to do a lot of talks, as I mentioned, and there's certain groups I don't do that. I go into high schools, and it doesn't work because they write, "I see you as an idiot." And I go, this is supposed to be positive stuff. But the point is, when I talk about in a few minutes about a gratitude journal, if you think about it, it's like a dream. If you talk about it, it inspires you. But if you write about it, it empowers you. Eileen already mentioned it, and Steve did. And that's this idea when you see how somebody views you. Embracing gratitude talks about what you have in your life versus what you don't have, which is what we focus on all the time. That's why that's so powerful. So I highly encourage you to hang on to that card. Embracing gratitude, number one. Second thing, you cannot give up under any circumstances. Never, ever, ever give up. I believe it was Winston Churchill. It takes as long as it takes. I am 64 years old. I'll be 65 in January. I wanted to be a speaker when I was 19 years old. That was 45 years ago. And I used to run, as Steve mentioned a little bit in the bio, run Nordstrom stores. I run Lowe's, Home Improvement, those big boxes. I quit a couple years ago. I'm going to pursue this dream. I'm going to do it to 64, 74, 84, 94, God willing. I'm never going to quit, never going to retire. I don't even know what that word means. I'm going to keep spreading this message. So I quit Lowe's and I come home. Connor goes, "What are you doing?" It's like 2 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. And I said, "I quit Lowe's. I'm done." He goes, "Well, that's just super, Dad. What are we going to do for food?" I said, "Connor, it's okay." Connor was 4. He was now 17 at the time, a couple years ago. But I really believe if you have a passion, I mentioned this as well earlier in talking, it was Mary Catherine or Eileen, about this idea, somewhere in your life, do something you're passionate about. Somewhere in this whole continuum, whatever amount of years you have on this planet. But it does take as long as it takes. After Dana had passed away, she died of a prescription pill overdose. Vicodin and Oxycontin, it was ridiculous. And of all these people I lost, probably half of them were of their own hand. Prescription pills, booze, crack, dope, whatever, all that stuff. It's just ridiculous. I was talking to Keith about this earlier. It's a coping mechanism, and in this case we have a healthy one versus an unhealthy one that seemed to wipe out so many people. But it does take as long as it takes. Connor had a really, really tough time. And about 6 months after Dana passed away, they said, "Your son's not right. He's in preschool." He was 4.5, 5 at the time. And they put him through all these tests, and it was just terrible. They said, "Your son is really messed up." I said, "His mom just died 6 months ago." "Yeah, whatever." They were kind of rude about it. And they gave me all this individual education development for all these different acronym programs. But he wanted to play baseball, and he just couldn't play baseball. And he wanted to do well in school, and he had the worst time. But he just kept trying. And when you did the coach pitch, and first of all, before that's the T-ball, he couldn't hit the ball. Now, how do you miss the ball on a tee? It doesn't even move. It just sits here. And he's swinging up here. And I'm going, "Connor, what's going on? I know Mom died, but come on." Finally, he lowers it. He hits the tee. The ball dribbles forward. He goes, "Dad, I got a hit." Oh, God, Connor. But he kept trying. 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. He went through the different grades. Never even played. But he always turned out. And then we get to May 31st, 2005. He's 11 years old. And they're on a team. He's on a team, and he never plays. And it's the bottom of the 7th, and it's 7-6. They're behind. Bottom of the 9th, or bottom of the 7th, I should say. 2 guys out. Guy in 2nd and 3rd. And I think there's no players left. So the coach is just looking in the dugout like, "Who do we have?" And he goes, whatever, send me Connor. So Connor comes out swinging the bat like he's Babe Ruth, you know, like he's some big hitter. And then he looks at me in the stand, hey Dad, I'm up. And now what kid ever acknowledges their parents in the stand? You know, you don't even want to know your parents are there. But he gets up, ball 1, ball 2, strike 1, strike 2, full count. Next pitch comes in, he just rips it down the third baseline. Goes into left field. The guy from third comes in. The guy from second rounds third. He comes to home, and here's the ball and the catcher and the other guy from third. And they crash. The guy catches it, and the ball pops out. And they win 8-7. And he's sitting out on second base. Dad, I got a hit. And the entire dugout comes out and carries him off the field on their shoulders. And we went home that night, and even this number of years later, it's still tough for me to talk about without choking up. Because I sat next to him on the bed, and Kyle was on this side, and Connor was on this side, and they said, Connor, it's about the fact that you never gave up. That's the whole key. And he went on to Bothell High School. He was the leadoff hitter on the baseball team, and he graduated with a 3.5 average, and now he's in college in San Diego. So it's one of those things, and I'm sure a number of you have children and maybe some grandchildren. You cannot give up. And this is something that you see all the time. People throw in the towel too many times. So I tell people, it doesn't matter how old you are. It's your journey. One of the reasons I don't do PowerPoints, because first of all, I don't like trying to figure out that thing, and you can't look at people. I can look at Maria and Jonathan and Sally and Ken and Kevin and Connie, Donna and Connie. I'll finish the rest of you in a minute. I'll tell you why I remember names. But the thing is, I like to look at people, and I like to watch their heads nodding. It's your journey. It's not somebody else's. This thing about, I got a 50-foot boat, I got a 52, I got a 54. It's ridiculous. It's your journey, but it takes as long as it takes. And everybody has a specific journey on this planet. So you cannot give up. And then the next thing is you got to get rid of this crap in your brain. When you go get in those cars today, notice this windshield's about 2 feet deep, and it's about 4 feet wide. And then notice the rearview mirror is about like this. That's probably 1 to 200. Mr. Engineer, would it be about 1 to 200?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Keith. And keep it in that proportion. Mostly pay attention to what's in front of you. You can pay attention back here a little bit. If you see some flashing blue lights, you got to pull over. I understand that. But I'll do workshops on gratitude. And now you don't understand. I had a BI something for an ex-wife. And I go, oh boy. I said, you're driving over this crud, you're picking it up, putting it in front of you, and driving over it again. You don't understand how tough it was with her. I said, well, when did you get divorced? 1992. And I go, that's like 20 years ago. You got to get rid of stuff. And so what happens when you get rid of stuff? You don't have to be one of those garage, you see those 3 things by houses, I believe they're called garages. And you drive by, the doors are open, and it's floor to ceiling boxes. I thought that's where cars went. And you see this little space, and I see these people like this. And they're walking down to get a little box. And whether you have stuff or not, it's the same thing in your brain. You got to get rid of stuff. You can't take it with you. We've never seen a hearse or an armored car, I should say, in a funeral procession. But the point is that you got to make room for stuff. So what happened with me, a buddy of mine says to me, you need to get a gratitude journal. Like, what's a gratitude journal? Now, how many people here have ever heard of a gratitude journal? Wow, more and more. That's fantastic. Because normally it would be not many people a couple years ago. So I get this gratitude journal and I start writing, and all these good things start happening. And then I develop my own. Now I have my own, the Brooker's Daily Gratitude Journal. It says right on the top, if you think about it, it's like a dream. If you talk about it, it inspires you. If you write about it, it empowers you. So if you want to buy one or any of my books, these are $15. But you can get a spiral notebook. I don't care. It takes 5 minutes a day. And it gets you to focus on what you have versus what you don't have. I normally don't say this in talks, but it just happened. I'm this close to getting a contract with Joint Base Lewis McChord. 22 to 23 soldiers a day are committing suicide. It's just unbelievable. Now, can I save them all? No, but if I saved one, that'd be one more than yesterday. But it has to do with how you frame this. And one of the things that I do on this, there's a little daily number up here. Now, normally, I wanted you to do the card exercise. I don't have enough time today, but I do a little exercise on 1 to 10. That's your daily number. 10 is the best day of your life, and 1 is maybe one of the toughest days of your life. And I do a little exercise where I have people kind of pay attention and see how you think. And you can do it, I'll do it real quick. You can just think what your daily number is right now. 10, best day of your life, 1 is terrible. And then I tell people 1 to 5, don't raise your hand. And I see how many 6, 7, and 8s I have. And then I have people think about what are they most grateful for, what's the second thing they're most grateful for, and what was the highlight of your day yesterday. Many times it has to do with their health, has to do with their grandkids, their spouses, whatever it might be. And then they watch all the numbers bounce up. The 7s go to 8s, 8 goes to 9, a bunch of 9s go to 10s. And I noticed there was one time I had a lot of struggles in my life. My mother, as I mentioned, died of cancer. She passed away, but she was bipolar. So I got this doggone bipolar crap. And I'm not going to take pills. I'm not saying there isn't a place for pills in this world, but I'm not going to do them. That's what killed Dana. I just don't believe it. I believe in my gratitude journal and drinking water and getting up and exercising and running, staying around positive people and all these different kinds of things. But about a year ago, I woke up and I was at 2. I was completely depressed, and I don't even get the point. So I grabbed the old gratitude journal and I went to a Starbucks and I wrote in it, and it bumped me up to about a 4 or 5. That was better. I'm usually a 7, 8, 9, 10 guy. Well, then I had a talk at the Burlington Chamber of Commerce. So I went up to Burlington, about 150 people, and did the talk. And afterwards, people come up, and a lot of people will not talk in front of a group, or they don't have the opportunity. But boy, they'll stand there and tell me some pretty unbelievable stories. And this lady's crying. She goes, "Can I give you a hug?" And I said, "Sure." And she gives me a hug, and she goes, "My name is Janice. You just changed my life." And for those of you that are in anything that has to do with Rotary, anything service above self, when somebody tells you they changed your life, it's pretty powerful. I do a video every single Monday, and it's my 2-minute gratitude video. If you want one, you can sign up on my little sheet there. But I try to come up with a real tricky little term every single week. I think this one was, let them loose, get rid of the negative friends in your life. But the one before that, I talked about how, what are people most grateful for? And when they write in this book, you hear them, I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my family, my spouse, my friends. But I've never heard something, I'm really grateful for the really cool car I have. It just doesn't usually happen. So you really understand, and the title of that video is The Best Things in Life Aren't Things. And I got a lot of opens on that one because it was kind of something I just wanted to emphasize. But so I go ahead and I do the chamber, and after that lady says that and she hugs me and I go out to the car, and I realize now I'm a 10. I'd gone from a 2 to a 4 to a 5 to a 10. Didn't have a drink of beer, didn't snort some white powder, didn't pop a pill, didn't do anything else. Just changed the life and realized what I was grateful for. Now everybody knows, anybody that's ever suffered with depression or any of those things, it's not an easy thing. But there are holistic, natural ways to combat these things without taking this easy road to these destructive and deadly coping mechanisms. So, embracing gratitude, it takes as long as it takes, never give up. Make room for gratitude, clear out the crap. Get a gratitude journal. And the last thing is sharing gratitude. What are you guys doing here today? Sharing great stories. And one of the reasons why people, well, Dave, I don't really have the time. Yeah, I mean, it's just 5 minutes, but I'm really busy. Well, I got the time to remember every single person's name in this room. And I don't do it to impress people. I do it to tell people that if you just focus on something, you can do anything. So if you have a healthy coping mechanism versus the pills and stuff that killed Dana, I tell people, give this a try. These same fraternity brothers that tell me they're not so impressed with my presentation will call me, need a dose of the Brooker. That's how I got that nickname. And I have all this bad stuff happen to me, and I still have as good an attitude as Bob. I'm telling you, and Smile and Kevin's cracking me up. That's a choice you make. You get a choice whether you can go left or right, happy or sad, up or down. And so they'll call, I need a dose of the Brooker. I go, have you written in your gratitude journal yet? Well, no, you see, you write in your gratitude journal, you call me back. So when you get to share things, it makes such a huge difference. So by show of hands here, how many people have been on their smartphone since I've been talking? Anybody? Bob? Perry? Okay, 2 honest people in the room. That's good. I want you all to take out your smartphones. And if you don't have a smartphone, it's okay, but I've seen quite a few of them today, and here's what I want you to do.
Actually, I was sharing with a friend of mine who 2 days ago just started a gratitude journal.
Oh, fantastic.
I was just sharing with her that I'm listening to that gratitude.
Perfect. And thank you, Perry. You were not the first person to defend themselves from the audience. It's fantastic. And listen, that's great. I'm serious. I really appreciate it. So get your smartphones out. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. This is called the 4 T's. I want you to text, tweet, one of these 4, telephone, or tell somebody how grateful you are to have them in your life. Go. You got 60 seconds.
I don't
When you go home, Hans, it's called Operating Central. She'll connect you to somebody. We call it Siri today.
About 30 seconds.
My son's gonna be like, what?
I know. About 10 seconds. And stop. And of course, you can finish those later. So Brent said something about my son's going to say something. So this is, now you notice in this world we live in, these used to be telephones. Now they are hardly used for that. Most people text. I was in a school the other day and it was a performing arts center and I could hear this gal. She was actually on the phone right kind of close to where Eileen was. And she's going, well, yes, honey, I'm assuming it's your husband. Yes, I want to tell you how much I love you. I want to tell you how grateful I am for you. Yes, I really do. I don't know, some speaker just told me to call you and tell me this. And kind of like Brent and the other people come up to me and they show me the phone and they showed the text. That's why I was appreciating Perry. And it goes, are you sure you sent this to the right person? You know? And then another one was, I'm really grateful for you too. What do you want?
David, I just got that response from my daughter.
My wife just called, so. Are you okay?
Is everything all right?
But all of these things, the 3x5 card, the tweet, text, telephone, and tell, are just reminders. Can you do that too much? Could you hear too many nice things on that card? Could somebody send you too many sets of flowers or dozens of flowers or whatever it might be? But I will tell you, the sharing gratitude is the final piece. And I remember I never did the drugs, I never did all that crap, and I'm very proud of that. And both Connor and Kyle never touched any of those things, and they're now 20 and 30. But I was an adrenaline junkie. So I jumped out of airplanes and bungee jumped and did all that crazy stuff, even though I didn't care for heights. And those same fraternity brothers, I said, we're going to go skydiving. So they all thought it was a great idea. So I make a reservation for 8 out at Issaquah, which is long since gone. And I make it for Saturday. And on Monday, I get a call from a couple of them can't make it. And then on Wednesday, a couple more call, hey, Dave, I got a sore throat, not feeling too good. And I just thought, gee, Minnie, this was all such a great idea. I walk into Issaquah skydiving. I proudly walk up to the counter. Hi, Brooke, party of 8 for skydiving. And the guy looks at me and he goes, great. Where are all your friends? And I went, I don't have any. And nobody ever showed up. It was just me. And I have a picture of me jumping out of just a static line. I later did the other free fall stuff, and I'm kind of grimace and everything, but I never got to share that with anybody. All by myself. I went by me, I got the little picture and everything, but it's not the same. And that's why when you get to text somebody or tweet them or tell them or telephone and let them know how grateful you are, whether they say, do you want something or not, everything in life, in my opinion, seems to be more valuable when you share it. There's something about it. Another cell phone. And so I would just offer this. If you embrace gratitude, hang in there. It takes as long as it takes. Don't give up. Make room for gratitude. Get rid of the crap. Try a gratitude journal and then share it. I feel it can transform and change a life. And in my case, I think it saved my life. And I don't think if I had this and had found something this healthy to help me go through all the junk I went through, I wouldn't be here today. And I urge you to give it a try because it can change your life too. Thanks a lot.
David, thank you. And one of the things we do at Tacoma North Rotary is that we give a book to our speaker to sign to give to the Point Defiant School, elementary school, so
cool.
For their library. So
Fantastic.
So kind as to sign a book for us that we will give to the
perfect.
school.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's great. How many people are 10 now?
I really appreciated your mention about talking about the highlights. Because we actually do that at our dinner table every night.
Oh, cool.
And we have a lot of different people that eat at our dinner table. And it's been fun to see how it's spread.
Oh, yeah.
And
What's
we-
dinner?
7 o'clock. We always make enough for everybody. But it's spread all over. Our youth exchange students do that at home now, and we'll get little text messages. They'll say, oh, here's my highlight today, even if they're not at the dinner table. So it's-
And what's interesting, Maria, too, there's always the people that have to, you know, there's the negative. I'm obviously